Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Recently I made a table mat, octagon shaped, and someone asked a question about how to do this with a quilt block, and so I took a quilt block, I added some borders, and I made it octagon shaped, and you can do this with any quilt block if you'd rather not have a square. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's get started. Here's the little quilt block I'm starting with today. It's a 9.5 inch block, and I didn't have enough of that green. You saw that little strip. That's it for that green fabric. So I needed to find something similar, and so I found this green fabric, and I'm going to give myself a straight edge there, and then I'm going to cut strips that are 2 inches because that's the size I used for those little 4 patches in the corner of this quilt block. So the size will kind of go along with the size I used in the quilt block. So I need 4 of these strips, and then I'm going to cut also some 2-inch strips from this white fabric. I need enough of these 2-inch strips to go around my quilt block, 9.5 times 4. I'm going to need 4 strips that are 9.5 inches. So I figured out what I needed, and I have more than enough right here. Here's some pink fabric that I found that kind of goes along with my quilt block. And I'm cutting 4-inch squares to cut triangles for the 4 corners of this little table mat. When you cut these triangles, they should be at least 1/4 inch bigger than the border that you're adding. So that green and white strip border that I'm going to be adding will be 3.5 inches when I have it all together. So these triangles need to be cut from at least a 3 3/4 inch square to give enough room for it to fit with the 1/4 inch seam. And mine are just a little bit bigger, so that's okay. I'll just trim that 1/4 inch off when I'm done. After sewing and pressing my long strips, I cut them into 9.5 inch segments to go around my little quilt. After adding my triangles to these strips, I will add the longer pieces here to my little table mat, and I'll have a pretty spring quilt for the center of my table. This is such a pretty little quilt. It was fun to add a few more fabrics to this quilt block, and as you can see, it's a simple thing to make one quilt block into a pretty centerpiece. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.